your understanding that you are the creator of your own experience, and that this environment, with all of its variety and contrast, evokes from you personal clarity about what you prefer. Yes? Sometimes we don't think that our human friends really understand that you are source energy in a physical body, and that you are a leading edge extension of that which is source, and that through your exposure to this leading edge environment, new things will occur to you that would, from your selfish perspective, which is very important because you can only see through the eyes of self, from your selfish perspective, new preferences are born, new desires are born. They sort of shoot out of you, whether you are able to acknowledge that they are happening on a conscious level or whether they are happening on a cellular level. You just cannot have an exposure to an experience without an improved idea occurring to you. Even if you are the one-celled organism, you are having exposure to an experience that is causing a new preference to be born. And when that happens, source joins that new idea. So when we say to you that you are extensions of source energy, we want so much for you to recognize that what that means is, as your consciousness has exposure to experience which causes some new preference to be born within you, source immediately becomes one with that new preference. Now, for a while, if you've been listening to us, you've heard us say that when you ask, it is given. And we know, while you like the sentiment of that, many of you say, well, then where's my stuff? Because I know I've been asking and I'm not sure that I've been being answered. And we want you to understand that you are answered every single time, because when your leading edge perspective causes a preference to be born within you, what happens is the source that is really you, the source that is the majority of you, the source that is really, really who you are, becomes instantly at one with that new idea. So it's like contrast gives birth to an idea. The idea is born, and in the moment that the new idea is born, source immediately becomes one with that new idea. And the reason that source so willingly becomes one with that new idea is because source remembers something about you that many of you have forgotten about you, and that is that you are worthy beings, and that you are good from the very core of your being, and that no one would know better for you what is good for you than you standing right there having the exposure to the experience that makes you want it. In other words, when you're interacting with someone and they're rude to you, you want nicer people. When you're interacting with someone and you're rude to someone, you want to be nicer. In other words, you just can't have any experience without who you really are finding that preference, and source immediately becomes one with that preference. Now try to remember that, because that is the most important, or one of the most important basis of understanding everything else that will come together for you. In other words, until you get that, nothing else that we are giving you is going to fall into place in the way that we really want it to. Jerry and Esther, as they move about, have navigational systems in their vehicles. 3 different kinds now: Magellan in one vehicle, and OnStar in another, and Pioneer in another. But they all operate on the same premise, which is where you are is known by the system. Satellites in the sky and contraptions in the vehicles identify where you are. And then Jerry and Esther pinpoint or program in their desired destination, and then the system calculates the route from where they are to where they want to be. And those are the only 2 things that matter in this guidance system. Where am I right now in relationship with where I want to go? You have a guidance system within you that is based upon the same 2 principles. We like to say 2 points of vibrational relativity. And the way those 2 points of vibrational relativity play against each other equals the vibration in your being that you translate through your emotions. In other words, the emotions that you feel are giving you constant, precise, perfect feedback about your vibrational countenance. Magellan, in Jerry and Esther's monster bus, never says to them, where have you been? Because it is not relevant. Magellan never says, you asked me before and you didn't listen to me, so now I'm not going to tell you. That was your mother that says that to you. In other words, This system is based upon 2 vibrational points, and your emotional guidance system is as well. So what happens is, as the contrast of your life causes a new preference to be born, think about it. You don't have enough money, you want more money. If you had any idea how many launches into your magnificent bank of vibrational escrow, there are millions and millions and millions of dollars that you have launched that are waiting there for you in vibrational escrow, just waiting for you to become a vibrational match to them. And so we've explained this to you before by saying there are 3 points to the process. The first part is, step 1 is, the contrast causes you to ask. And that's easy. You can't stop asking. The entire universe is established to cause you out here on the leading edge to come to new conclusions about what would be better for you. So the asking is constant. Step 2 is, source becomes immediately at one with what you're asking for. That's what we mean when we say, when you ask, it is given. Because when you ask, source immediately becomes one with what you're asking for. Because source knows your worthiness, and source knows no one could better choose for you than you, standing right there where you're standing. Step 3 is, you must then become a vibrational match to what you have asked for. And this is the part that's a little tricky. In fact, this is the part that we base every teaching and every process and every word that we offer is based upon this art of allowing. It's step 3. It's how you figure out little by little how to become vibrationally in alignment with what you've been asking for. So it works like this. Contrast causes you to prefer something, and you're preferring something that you're not living yet. Manifestation has not happened yet. Now we want to point out to you that more than 99% of every creation is completed vibrationally before you receive the physical manifestation of it. And think about what that means. Your contrast to your perfect experience is causing you to ask for something that source immediately becomes one with. So this creation, vibrationally speaking, just like this planet, just like all that is manifested was thought before it took form, so it is true with everything that you are in the process of creating. So 99% of it is created before you begin to see any physical evidence of it. So what we see happening with you is that you will live some contrast. You will launch a rocket of desire, step 1. Source becomes immediately one with the rocket that you've launched. Step 2 is complete. And over here in vibrational escrow, just waiting for you to become a vibrational match to it, is this thing that you desire. And then you're over here so much of the time complaining about where you are. And we say, you can't complain about what is and be a vibrational match to what you're creating at the same time. It's one or the other. You can't complain about not enough money and be a vibrational match to all of the resources that are waiting for you in your vibrational escrow with your name and your DNA and everything that is vibrational and known to be you encoded in it. In other words, this is your vibrational escrow. Somebody else cannot swoop in and take it. It is yours and only yours to be manifested. The question is, how long are you going to be out here in Never Never Land beating the drum of something that has nothing to do with what you now want? So what we're saying to you is, you are eternal beings and your environment is causing you to become more, and you must stay up to speed with that which you have become if you are to be a vibrational match with who you really are. Now, this is where those 2 points of vibrational relativity come in that are so important for you to understand. Because when you, let's talk about you, before you were born into this physical body, you were pure positive energy. You were source energy, and you were offering one powerful signal of well-being. In other words, only well-being, no fear about sickness, only well-being, no fear about death, only well-being. This is who you are. And then you're born into this physical environment, and the day you're born, your signal became split a little bit, because you just can't be exposed to what's going on here on this planet and everything everybody's worrying about without taking some of it on. So when you're born, your signal is not quite as pure as it was before. We will point out to you it's purer than anybody around you, but your signal is not as pure as it was before you emerged into this time-space reality. So we want you to get the sense of this vibrational signal that is who you really are, not just who you were before you were born, but who you are becoming as contrast is causing you to become more. And remember, You were born as this intelligence, but this life experience is causing you to add to that. So that which you would call God, or that which we call source energy, that is becoming more because of you living here on this leading edge time-space reality. So the emotions that you feel, every one of them, are about this vibrational relationship, the relationship between what you're doing with your thoughts right now and who you really are as source energy. So you were born pure positive energy. When you are looking at someone and loving them, you're in perfect alignment with who you are. There's no vibrational separation. When you're angry with someone, you got a different vibration going on. When you meditate and quiet your mind, which means you release all resistance, you become one vibrational signal. You wake up in the morning, you are in alignment, because as you slumber, you withdraw your consciousness from this time-space reality. You wake up and you remember what you were worried about yesterday, you split your energy. Then you look for something to appreciate, you come back into alignment. Then you answer the telephone and somebody's complaining about something that's important to you, you split your energy. Then you take a nap, you go back into alignment. Then you watch CNN. You go out of alignment. Then you croak, you go back into alignment. In other words, but we would like you to come into alignment before you croak. It's ever so much more pleasing to be in this physical body and be in alignment with who you are. So your emotions are letting you know, they're giving you constant feedback about how much you are in alignment, not just with who you were before you came into this physical body, but with who you are now that the whole of you has become more as a result of your being here in this physical body. Can you hear the importance of this? So many of our physical friends have it so distorted in their mind. They think that God is this perfect being who has everything all figured out, and that they have been sent here as insufficient, inadequate, even scarred or broken in some way, and that here they will prove their worthiness and come back into the alignment. And we say, well, we get the coming into alignment part, but you are not broken beings. You didn't come here because there is something wrong with you, or because there is some unworthiness that needs to be satisfied. You came because you are creators, and because the energy that is source is wanting to have the expanded experience through the brilliance and worthiness of this perspective that is you see. So as Jerry and Esther are moving from Phoenix to San Diego, and they are moving out across the desert, they have no problem at all making this journey. They know the journey. It's very easy to understand. They know it's 400 miles and they must go west. And if they keep going, they will arrive at their destination. They never get out there in the desert halfway or thereabouts in Yuma and then feel so disappointed that they're not in San Diego that they completely get disoriented and turn around and go back to Phoenix. They know the journey, and because they know it, they get pointed in the direction of it and they keep going. But we see so many of you on your journey from sickness to wellness, or on your journey from a rotten relationship to a wonderful relationship, or on your journey from not enough money to plenty of money, and you're vibrationally well along your way, and you get out there and take score and then freak out because you're not where you want to be, and turn around and go back to Phoenix. Can you imagine Jerry and Esther, Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma, and then they announce to the world, San Diego is an impossible dream. It's incurable. And we say, no, it isn't. Nothing is incurable. You just have to point in the direction of wellness and keep going. But if you haven't figured out how to quantify your journey, if you haven't figured out which way wellness is, then you might go sick, weller, sick, weller, sick, weller, sick, weller, and then you announce, I have a chronic incurable disease. And we say, no, you don't. You've just got a habit of not paying attention to which way you're going. You haven't allowed yourself to use the guidance that you were born with to quantify your journey. And when you do use the guidance that you were born with to quantify your journey, you will discover that it is simple and easy and fast to get from wherever you are to wherever you want to be.